I stood on the doorstep of the house I co-owned in Columbus, Ohio, on December 26, the winter air sharp against my skin like 1,000 tiny needles. My emerald green coat felt like armor, the heels of my black boots clicking authoritatively on the concrete as I knocked 3 times, sharp, deliberate. Inside, I could hear muffled laughter fading, the clink of glasses, the low hum of conversation from people who thought the holidays were theirs alone. The wreath on the door still smelled of fresh pine and cinnamon, a cruel reminder of the celebration I'd been erased from. My heart pounded, not with fear, but with a cold clarity that had taken years to crystallize. This was the moment everything changed. To understand how I arrived here, you have to go back to the beginning, to the family dynamics that shaped me into the reliable shadow no one truly saw. I grew up as Sophia Bennett in a modest 2-story home on the outskirts of Columbus, the oldest of 3 siblings. My parents, hardworking middle-class folks, a teacher mom and an accountant dad, always operated under an unspoken hierarchy. Ethan's needs came first. He was the artistic dreamer, the one with boundless potential and a guitar always slung over his shoulder. According to them, his sensitivity meant he needed extra support, endless second chances. My younger sister Grace floated somewhere in the middle, agreeable, going with the flow, never rocking the boat. And me, at 32 now, looking back, I was the steady one, the one who could handle it, the one who got straight A's, earned scholarships, worked part-time jobs through college while my brother dropped out of music school after 2 semesters. I remember specific holidays that etched the pattern deep. One Thanksgiving when I was 14, I had just won the state science fair with a project on renewable energy that my teacher said could lead to real opportunities. My parents barely mentioned it at dinner. Instead, the conversation revolved around Ethan's latest band gig at a local coffee shop. How the crowd loved his vibe. Grace got praised for helping set the table. My award sat forgotten on the counter. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, feeling the familiar ache of invisibility. But I pushed it down. Family comes first, I told myself. Blood is thicker than anything. By my early 20s, the pattern was set in stone. I moved to Chicago after college, landing a job in brand strategy at Apex Marketing Group. The hours were brutal, 60-hour weeks. Night classes for my MBA, but I thrived. Promotions came steadily. Yet every trip home reinforced my place. There was the summer Ethan almost signed with a small label. My parents flew him to New York for meetings, dipping into savings while I covered my own rent. Grace got emotional support during her string of dead-end relationships. My successes? They were met with awkward silences or comments like, "Don't get too big for your britches, Sophia." Showing off. They called it. The Christmas of 2022 hit especially hard. Fresh off a major promotion at Apex, I felt generous, wanting to bridge the emotional distance. I spent weeks hunting for perfect gifts. For Dad, a set of premium noise-canceling headphones he'd mentioned wanting for his long commutes. For Mom, a weekend getaway to a luxury spa in northern Michigan, complete with massages and wine tastings. Grace received tickets to see her favorite indie band in Cleveland, plus a designer scarf. For Ethan, I commissioned a custom leather guitar strap embroidered with his band's logo from a local artisan. Expensive, thoughtful. I wrapped them meticulously, drove the 6 hours from Chicago with excitement bubbling despite past letdowns. The return gifts? A generic Bath and Body Works candle with a clearance sticker still attached, and a half-empty bottle of wine I recognized as a regift from my own housewarming party 6 months earlier. When Mom caught my expression, she waved it off with a sigh. "It's not about the money, Sophia. Some of us don't need to flaunt success." Flaunt. The word landed like a slap. My promotion, The late nights studying, the disciplined investments I'd made in stocks and early crypto, none of it was achievement to them. It was arrogance. I swallowed the hurt, smiled, and reminded myself, family comes first. Even when it feels like you come dead last. Life continued in that uneasy rhythm until early 2023. The economy was tightening, inflation biting into everything. I understood restraint. So when Mom sent a group text on March 15th saying they were scaling back Christmas, no big gathering, just keeping it chill and frugal, I responded supportively. Everything okay money-wise? I can chip in if needed. Hours later, we're fine. Just simplifying. Focus on your career. Dear. It stung. But I adjusted. Booked a solo trip to Montreal instead. Splurging on a hard-to-get Christmas Eve reservation at a renowned French bistro. Something just for me. The illusion shattered the following week. Scrolling Instagram during a lunch break, I saw Ethan tagged in a post at the Belmont Plaza, one of Columbus's most exclusive event venues, the kind where weddings run six figures. The caption, helping prep the family feast. Home is everything. The photo showed him with an event planner, surrounded by gold and silver Christmas decor. My stomach dropped. This wasn't frugal. This was lavish. I called Mom immediately. She laughed it off nervously. Oh. That's just Ethan's friend who works there. He was networking for his music gigs. You know how he is. It didn't sit right, but I let it go, telling myself I was overthinking. Then came December 24th. I was packing for my early flight to Montreal when my phone pinged, a group chat notification from cousin Emma. She added me by accident, removed me seconds later, but not before the photo loaded. There they all were in our parents' living room. Mom, Dad, Ethan, Grace, extended family, friends, gathered around an enormous gold and silver tree. A catered spread from Rel's Events, the city's priciest service, covered the table. Laughter frozen in time. Everyone except me. Below it, a screenshot from Grace's Instagram story. Nothing like being surrounded by real family. My hands trembled as I set the phone down. I spread through my veins. This was no accident. They had lied deliberately. Christmas wasn't canceled. I was canceled. I called Mom. Background noise of music and cheers filtering through. Sophia? It's late. Honey. What's wrong? I asked what was happening at the house. A long pause. Then muffled movement. Just a small get-together. Ethan needed some comfort. He's stressed with his music career. Didn't want to burden you since you're so busy in Chicago. The lie was seamless. Then I heard Uncle Frank's unmistakable laugh from Florida. He only visited for big occasions. I see the photos. Mom, I said quietly. Everyone's there. You said you couldn't afford it. Her voice shifted to defensiveness. Don't turn this into drama. Sophia, you're always so sensitive. In that instant, everything clicked. I remembered the crucial detail they'd overlooked. I still held 60% ownership of the Columbus house. Aunt Evelyn, Dad's sister, the only one who ever really saw me, had left it to me in her 2019 will. Practical and forward-thinking, she believed property was security. After her passing, Mom begged me not to sell my share so Ethan could stay rent-free, temporarily. Against my lawyer's advice, I agreed. Family first. That night, I canceled Montreal. I contacted my attorney at Whitfield Legal Group despite the holiday. Pulled deeds, ownership papers, and records of Ethan's unpaid rent-free stay violating our informal agreement. By dawn, I had cease and desist and eviction documents ready. I booked a flight for the 26th and arranged a locksmith. Then I reached out to Emma, who admitted she'd been frustrated with Ethan's entitlement for years. She agreed to film discreetly. The plan crystallized. Reclaim what was mine. The days between Christmas Eve and the 26th blurred into focused preparation. I sat in my modest Chicago condo, nothing flashy, despite my hidden wealth from smart stock options, bonuses, and crypto plays I'd never bragged about after years of being accused of showing off. I lived practically, reliable sedan, simple furnishings. Let them underestimate me. That secrecy became my power. My attorney walked me through the legal realities over a hurried call. As majority owner, I could revoke residency, especially with evidence of unauthorized use for a private event without consent, a clear co-ownership violation. Mason, no. Ethan had no lease. Just my past generosity. The eviction timeline was tight but enforceable. Notice. Then court, if needed. I documented everything meticulously. Photos from Emma's mistaken share. Screenshots. Financial records showing I'd covered taxes and maintenance disproportionately. Emma texted updates nervously. The family still believed I was oblivious in Montreal. Ethan had posted more family bliss stories. Their rewriting of me as the too busy, too successful villain who wouldn't care justified the exclusion. They said you'd be happier with your fancy Chicago friends, Emma confessed. Ethan claimed you lord your success over everyone. The words carved deeper wounds. But they fueled resolve rather than despair. I landed in Columbus on the 26th morning under gray skies. Rental car humming quietly. The house looked unchanged from childhood memories, familiar brick facade. Now strung with lingering Christmas lights twinkling mockingly. Presents still scattered under the tree visible through the window. I parked, took a deep breath, and approached at 10:55 a.m. The locksmith waited nearby per schedule. Emma arriving soon with her phone ready for legal documentation. Knocking. Ethan answered in pajamas, eyes widening in alarm. Sophia? What are you doing here? His nonchalance cracked quickly. Gather everyone in the living room, I said evenly. I have something important to say. He shrugged, calling out lazily. Mom emerged from the kitchen, mug in hand, face paling. Dad avoided my eyes, staring at his slippers. Grace appeared at the stairs, hair tousled, guilt flickering before neutrality set in. Once assembled in the same room from the viral family photo, tension thick in the air. Remnants of their feast, empty bottles, half-eaten platters, wrapping paper, littered surfaces like ghosts of betrayal. I pulled out the envelope, voice steady despite the storm inside. This was no impulsive rage. It was calculated reclamation after years of erasure. I explained the updated ownership agreement. Locks changing today. Residency revoked. Silence descended, then exploded. Ethan shouted I couldn't do this. He had nowhere to go. I reminded him calmly of my 60% stake from Anne Evelyn. His rent-free years against terms. The unauthorized event use evidenced by photos. Mom gasped, prioritizing Ethan. You wouldn't do this to your brother? Her concern for him over our shattered bond confirmed everything. The weight of accumulated slights surfaced in my mind. Loans never repaid. Achievements dismissed. The rewritten narrative making me the villain. I laughed then. A sound foreign in that house. Releasing years of suppressed pain. Superior? This is about respect I never received. The doorbell rang. Locksmith and Emma. She documented as instructed, revealing their excuses. I was too important, too fake for real family. Something snapped free inside me, the last thread of obligation. New locks installed amid protests. I handed Emma a key for monitoring until January 5th. The real estate agent would handle sale afterward. A developer had already expressed interest in the prime location for condos. Ethan demanded answers about his future. I replied it was no longer my concern. Walking out. Their raised voices, Mom's sobs, Dad's pleas. Ethan's panic faded behind me. Each step to the car felt lighter, unburdened. The immediate aftermath unfolded with surprising precision. By January 5th, Ethan vacated under legal pressure, moving temporarily with his drummer. That arrangement lasted barely 2 weeks before tension forced another exit. My parents scrambled, but the notice held firm. I sold my 60% share to Westlake Development for $250,000, well above market, reflecting the site's development potential for luxury condos. What I hadn't anticipated was Emma's quiet act of solidarity. Frustrated by years of similar dynamics, she posted a carefully edited TikTok, POV of the overlooked family member reclaiming power. Clips captured Ethan's shocked reaction to the locksmith without revealing identities clearly. But the context was unmistakable. When the reliable one owns the house you excluded her from. It exploded, 2.1 million views by month's end. Comments flooded. Queen behavior. This energy for 2024. Stories of parallel betrayals from viewers feeling unseen. The virality dismantled Ethan's curated image. His band lost sponsors. Instagram followers plummeted from 41K to under 4K. Local music circles whispered. My parents shifted tactics. Angry calls demanding reversal. Tearful voicemails invoking forgiveness and blood ties. Finally, a weak attorney letter contesting Aunt Evelyn's will, dismissed easily after 4 years. I ignored them all, channeling proceeds thoughtfully. I donated $25,000 to a Columbus women's shelter in Aunt Evelyn's name, the Evelyn Bennett Fund for New Beginnings. It honored her gift of security to me, extending opportunity to others escaping toxic situations. The remaining funds bolstered investments and my fresh start. In March, I left Apex, launching my own boutique marketing consultancy. Without the draining cycle of seeking validation from a family that never reciprocated, creativity surged. Clients praised my focused energy. The firm grew steadily. Grace reached out 6 months later during a Chicago layover. We met for coffee. She stirred her latte, admitting the family still reeled. Mom tearful at my name, Dad in denial, Ethan blaming everyone else. I think they deserved it, she said finally, eyes meeting mine truly for perhaps the first time. I was complicit. I'm sorry. We maintain occasional contact now, tenuous but real. She's the only one who acknowledged the truth. People still ask if I regret it, the fractured ties, the public spectacle. I reflect carefully. It wasn't fleeting revenge. It was reclaiming dignity eroded incrementally over decades. The exclusions, dismissals, lies, they had already severed us long before the locks changed. I simply made it official. Reflecting deeper, the childhood incidents compound in memory like layers of sediment. Family vacations where Ethan's whims dictated itineraries, detours for his inspiration spots, while my suggestions were overlooked. School events, my honor roll ceremonies sparsely attended compared to Ethan's mediocre recitals cheered wildly. Even small moments, like holiday dinners where Dad recounted Ethan's almost big break stories endlessly. My career milestones summarized in one sentence. These built a quiet resentment I masked with responsibility. Loans to Ethan for music equipment vanished without repayment. Grace's stability came via parental buffer. Mine was self-forged. The 2022 gifts incident wasn't isolated. It echoed countless afterthoughts. Moms don't show off. Remark crystallized how my ambition threatened their narrative of Ethan as the special one needing protection. The 2023 lie amplified isolation. Montreal plans symbolized independence, but discovering the deception on Christmas Eve cracked the facade. The group chat photo, gold-silver decor matching Ethan's post. Catered luxury. Real family caption, triggered profound betrayal. The phone call exposed practiced gaslighting. Recognizing the ownership stake felt like fate intervening. Aunt Evelyn's foresight, my lifeline. Planning involved emotional labor. Rereading the will. Verifying no statute issues. Preparing airtight notices. Hiding wealth proved wise. They assumed financial vulnerability. Emma's alliance added validation. She shared her own sidelined experiences. Strengthening resolve. Arrival and confrontation carried cinematic weight, snow crunching under heels. Wreath scent clashing with tension. Family's pajamas contrasting my polished armor. Dialogue escalated organically, denials. Accusations of jealousy. My calm counter with evidence and accumulated truths. Locksmith's drill provided punctuation. Handing Emma the key symbolized trust transferred. Post-eviction. Ethan's instability highlighted consequences, short-lived stays. Career freefall. Virality brought unexpected community. Overlooked siblings sharing stories. Validating the overlooked. Yet it amplified family pain without my intervention. The donation and business launch marked true new beginnings. The shelter fund supports women rebuilding lives, mirroring my break from toxicity. Consultancy success stems from redirected passion, no more emotional labor for unreciprocated love. Grace's outreach offers slim hope for selective ties, but boundaries remain firm. The viral echo lingers in comments, inspiring others to prioritize self-respect. Ultimately, this taught that assumed love demands proof through actions, not blood alone. Respect outweighs relation. Sometimes healing means walking away, enforcing consequences. Fairy tales romanticize blood bonds, but toxic ones poison. I built my chosen family through work, self-investment, and authenticity. At 33, running my firm in Chicago, I no longer put family above all. I choose people who choose me. The house sale funded freedom. The confrontation reclaimed my worth. What remains is the question we all face. When does loyalty to family become self-betrayal? In my case, consequences revealed the answer.